shoulder here. Alright guys and gals, this is the home screen for the Centurion Touch Vision dash system. Top left corner, you've got your time. On the right, you've got your outside temperature. Below that, you've got depth. Over here, you've got your fuel gauge, your speed, your tachometer. This is your trim tab setting, at which point we've got it set at 0, meaning it's in the full up position, and you can run it down with this control here. Notice it's changing to green as we go down to 100% deflection. 100% deflection means it's in the full down position, just like you would start a bass boat out of the hole with the outboard in the full down position. This is your 0 off speed control here. It tells us that we are running, when I put this boat in gear, it's going to run us up to 11.8 miles an hour. I can turn it off and on with this off and on switch. These are my ballast gauges at the bottom. This is telling me that I've got absolutely no ballast in the boat whatsoever. Now I'm going to tab through our different screens here at the bottom. This is my additional ballast gauge with the diagrams. Now I can manually fill this boat by simply hitting the fill button, and everything has got an initial next to above it. So the one I'm filling right now is the Port Quick Fill, which the Port Quick Fill is on the port side of the boat. It's the 500-pound hard tank in the aft. It's the one that's got the floodgate that fills in about 45 seconds and empties in about 45 seconds while underway at over 10 miles an hour. I can fill my Port Pro, Starboard Pro, and my plug and play, which, remember, the plug and play is primarily for surf and surf only. That's why you've got a 1 and a 2 down here, and a switch valve. The switch valve is underneath the back seat, which we've all seen today. So when you hit fill, you better divert your diverter to which side you want to fill. Since if we want to surf port, then I would divert my diverter to port side and I'd hit fill. And then you can manually drain from here as well by just hitting the drain buttons. Next is tab. You rarely need or use this screen, as you'll just use it here and use it on the home screen, which is where we saw it earlier. The next is video. Now I don't have video feed hooked up, but underneath the dash there's 2 video cables. So let's say that Bill is wakeboarding and he's working on a double backflip with a twist and can't quite land it. Al's in the boat filming it. We get Bill into the boat, we hook the camera up, and we play it through our system so he can see what mistake he's making on the landing. Notice I keep hitting this button. It's kind of like an iPhone. We gave it that function because a lot of people are using the iPhone and it's easy. Every time I hit it, it goes back to the home screen, and I'm scrolling over at the bottom. The one with the home takes you back to home, which we're on. GPS is another function of our touch panel system. Most manufacturers charge an additional $2,000 to $3,000 for the GPS system in their boat and the 0 off speed control. As we talked about earlier, the speed control in the Centurion Enzo with the touch panel dash is all 0 off speed control. It's not run with a paddle wheel. This is our lighting switch. So from here I can control my courtesy lights, dock lights, and cockpit courtesy lights. Notice on the port side of the dash here is the switches that are most important that we'll need to get to quicker, as such as navigation and anchor, radio, bilge, blower, horn, engine start, stop. Some manufacturers actually run all these very, very important switches in the computer system, so you have to scroll through 3 screens to hit the stop button, or the horn for that matter, in some manufacturers' boats. The person here at the bottom, that screen, this is our rider profile setting. Okay, so I can set a profile for anybody and everybody, and the amount of profiles you can set are endless. So I am going to add a profile right now based on the surfing we did today. And I'm going to call it Dylan. How you spell your name, Dylan?
A-N.
Dylan, okay? And I'm going to set this boat up exactly the way we set it up for Dylan's run. So I type his name in, done. I put the speed in that we used for him, that he liked the best. Just tabbing up here.
That'll be GPS speed, right?
This would be GPS speed. So he liked 11.8. That's where the wave worked best for him. So right now we're setting a rider profile. He liked a 60-degree tab position. So remember what I said, guys. The boat's always going to start with the tab at 100% deflection, just like you would again in a bass boat or a stern drive. But what happens is, when I get to half of my desired cruise speed of 11.8 miles an hour, when I get to half that, it's going to raise up to 60%. Dylan rides on the goofy side of the boat, so I'm going to set my starboard quick fill to 100%. And we called our friend and 6-time world wake surf champion Drew Daniello to help us with the goofy side setup on this boat. He recommended the Port Pro bag. So we're going to set that at 100%. And when I say 100%, I mean 100% capacities. We need to do the starboard Pro bag. And the plug and play you'll do manually. So now I've set a full profile for Dylan. I hit save. And now he's in the system. So I've got Dylan, I've got Goofy. I set one up for Julian, Mr. Boyd, on the ski settings that he likes. I set one up for Surf Right, which here gives all the settings that I've set. So let's, for instance, go back to Mr. Boyd. He likes to ski with 0 ballast, the tab at 100% deflection, the bow all the way down, and at 33 miles an hour. And if he were in the boat, all I would have to do is hit activate. It would set our 0 off speed control to 33 miles an hour and the tab position to 100%. The driver has to do nothing but get behind the wheel and give it gas. The throttle will take over at that point. Let's see what else we've got in here. I've got go home. This is a setting that I always use. When I get done surfing, wakeboarding, whatever, I empty all my tanks. I set the tab position at 70, and I set the boat at 27.5 miles an hour. Boat takes itself home. Surf left is, I've got it set here at 9.5 miles an hour, 30% tab position, and port quick fill at 100%, port pro 100%, plug and play at 100%. And then pro rider. It's just so on and so forth, the different settings. But all you have to do is hit activate, and the boat will set itself up for that particular rider. When the pro rider's done, we want to go down to Dylan. We go back down past Julian. We go past Goofy. We go to Dylan. Hit activate. When the pro rider's getting out of the boat, Dylan's getting ready to get in. The boat is setting itself up. It's doing its thing. So you've got nothing to worry about. Now, again, you can choose to manually control your sacks, but I always choose to go inside of a profile. When we're in a profile, which we're actually already in a profile since we were just surfing to the left a second ago, we were in surf left, so I'm going to deactivate that profile, but when you go back to your home screen, just want to show you that even though the profile for Dillon, for example, is 11.8 miles an hour, if the wind conditions are weird, if the water conditions are weird, if you've got the boat weighted weird, if you're in current, you can always change the speed should we need to slow down because we're heading into a current or something of that nature. But when you shut the boat off, it'll always come back and default to what we have originally set up for Dillon, which is 11.8 miles an hour. It's a pretty intelligent system. So to recap, GPS, rider profiles, your switching, courtesy lights, dock lights, cockpit lights and speakers, ballast tanks, which is our diagram here. And notice if I hit drain on this, it will tell me to increase the speed to drain it. This boat won't drain without being at 10 plus miles per hour because it's a gravity fed system.
But you can go as fast as you want.
You can go as fast as you want, but it won't drain until you get to 10. Tab control, which again you likely won't use often. Video, home, and then this is really going to be more for your service department to use. Of course, I mean that's more advanced for ballast, timing, system info, depth and position, chart and time, satellite status, stuff that the techs in the back would really fool with more than sales or a customer. So
That's it, isn't it?
there's really not a heck of a lot to it, to be honest with you. It takes some use to play with it, but it's pretty darn simple. If you can operate a smartphone or an iPad or